There are movies with little to no special effects, movies with a moderate amount, movies with a heavy amount, and then there's Zack Snyder's Justice League. The reality is far sillier than the mesmerizing movies we all know and love. We're sure you'll be shocked to find out what filming these elaborate scenes without CGI looks like. Let's get right into it. Firstly, what is Snyder known for? Zack Snyder is known for his visionary approach to directing and has delivered spectacles in the past such as 300 and Watchmen. It should be understood by the viewer when watching one of the director's films that most of what you're looking at isn't real and was digitally added after filming. In a Snyder film, the only authentic thing viewers are really looking at in the scene are the actors themselves and maybe a few props scattered around them. Before special effects were added into the Snyder Cut of the Justice League, everything was a sea of green as actors performed inside studios as opposed to outside where half of the film takes place. Now let's take a look at what certain scenes look like filming versus the end result. It's rather shocking to see what things look like on set during the filming of a Snyder movie versus the end result. Zack Snyder's Justice League is proof of that. For example, one of the most famous scenes is Superman versus Wonder Woman. After he blocks Wonder Woman from using her cuffs, Superman pulls her arms apart and headbutts her. She fires one right back at him, which takes him a second to recover from. After he's had enough, Superman delivers the headbutt of all headbutts when he lifts himself in the air and comes down on Wonder Woman like a ton of bricks. In order to get this scene perfect, a green screen covered crew member had to aid Henry Cavill by bending his legs in a way which brought more fluidity to his body while he was held up with wires. It would have been impossible for Cavill to bend his body this way while on the wires, so the silly looking crew member was essential to get it just right. Let's take a look at a few more scenes that may surprise you with how they were executed, as the before and afters aren't even comparable. Amazon's hard at work. As Hippolyta escapes through a tunnel, awaiting Amazon warriors stand by with large hammers ready to knock out massive stone pillars which will release several walls and trap all inside, hopefully killing Steppenwolf in the process. It looks like these Amazons didn't have to swing as hard as it looked in the movie because in reality they're just hitting large foam pillars wrapped in that trusty green cloth. Aquaman saves the day. In one of Arthur Curry's introductory scenes, played by Jason Momoa, we see him rescue a man whose boat is capsized during a brutal storm. The seaman puts out several maydays as he tries to cling to the sinking vessel, but his future looks grim as there is no help in sight. That is, until Aquaman himself appears on top of the boat in all his shirtless glory, ready to save the day. It's one of the movie's coolest shots as only Arthur's silhouette can be seen while a large wave comes in to crash down on him. But it turns out that's not real seawater, and Momoa was standing on top of a boat inside a studio. The water was tossed onto him by machines and what hopefully only required one take. Cyborg taking a stroll. Just before the team revives Superman, they have to break into Star Labs, so they have the entire place evacuated with a false alarm put in place by Cyborg. Victor struts down one of the walkways carrying a mother box when he passes his father, Dr. Silas Stone, played by Joe Morton. Silas is trying to alert the evacuated staff that the alarm was actually false when he sees his son is up to something and ends up going along with the plan. In a scene that was entirely constructed without green screens, Ray Fisher dons his motion capture suit fitted with two red glowing lights as he walks down the corridor with his father just behind him, the flying fox in motion. Throughout Zack Snyder's Justice League, we see Bruce Wayne, Cyborg, and Alfred, played by Jeremy Irons, work on the flying fox, the jet Bruce constructed as a troop carrier. The team has some issues getting it to fly, but eventually the jet is in working order and carries the team across the world to take on Steppenwolf. Bruce mans the flying fox alone after dropping the team off on land and takes down Steppenwolf's force field, allowing everyone to enter and start smashing skulls. While it looks like Affleck really is in some type of aircraft in the movie, he's actually sitting on a pile of wood that remains stationary, and he has to thrust himself around to make it look like he's actually in motion. However, when the flying fox lands near Steppenwolf's home base, the team walks off the jet ready for battle. It's one of the movie's first shots of the group together before Superman joins them. Batman stays aboard the jet as Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Cyborg, and the Flash exit the ramp ready to take on Steppenwolf. The group appears to be indoors yet again as they're surrounded by large green drapes, so the gloomy background can be added added in later. This version of the Flying Fox looks more like a real aircraft as opposed to the wooden mess we saw Ben Affleck sitting on earlier. Underwater fight outside of the water. When Steppenwolf comes for the second mother box, he has to look for it in the ocean as it's being guarded underwater by Atlanteans. Mira, played by Amber Heard, is one of the first Atlanteans to challenge Steppenwolf and fights him off as he tries to steal the box. Steppenwolf gets the upper hand and almost wipes her out entirely before Aquaman shows up to save the day yet again. An underwater fight sequence isn't easy. 3 crew members had to help sling Jason Momoa around in the air as he hung from wires to make this movement look effortless, as if he was truly under the water. Superman vs. Cyborg. Superman also takes on Cyborg one-on-one shortly after his resurrection, and it's really nothing the former can't handle. Superman has no issue coming to blows with Cyborg and stops him mid-flight by grabbing his hands and throwing him off to the side like a ragdoll. Since Victor Stone is made mostly of metal, actor Ray Fisher had to wear a motion capture suit for most of his filming and had to carry a large green foam box as he charged Superman, so his character's arms could be digitally altered later. Henry Cavill had to grab the box in such a way so it looked like he was grabbing Cyborg's hands, making for an interesting behind-the-scenes collision between the two actors. The victorious team revels in their glory. One of the best group shots in the movie comes in the finale after the Justice League is victorious in destroying the mother boxes and taking down Steppenwolf. After climbing out of their reactor, the team stands together looking at the horizon prouder than ever. While their all looks pretty serious, the Flash can't help but grin alongside his new superhero buddies. The bright background behind the Justice League was added in after the fact, as was Cyborg's metal body. In this particular shot, he did have the glowing red lights around his eye and at the center of his chest, which was emphasized later on in editing. An example of a CGI nightmare, Cavill's CGI removed mustache for Superman. Henry Cavill's mustache from his movie Mission Impossible Fallout became the bane of the Justice League's infamous reshoots after Zack Snyder's initial departure, with the mustache having to be digitally erased in post-production. Unfortunately, with how rushed the last-minute revamping of the movie was, the CGI lower half of Cavill's face stood out like a sore thumb when Justice League hit theaters, with nearly every Superman scene in the movie being able to be attributed to the reshoots due to the digital smudging of Cavill's face. Justice League's clumsy CGI remained a punchline for the next few years. Cavill himself joined in. That is, until the Snyder Cut came along with a Superman makeover of its own. The Snyder Cut hadn't been released, that really could have been the last version of Cavill's Superman fans would have seen. It's absolutely no joke grasping a hold on computer-generated imaging. CGI is no easy feat for any film production team, let alone for an action-packed movie such as the Justice League. Executing elaborate fight scenes, dramatic action sequences, and building a fictional realm that feels real enough to touch is a skill Snyder has mastered incredibly well. That's all for now, folks, but we'll be back with more interesting videos. To stay informed about the entertainment industry, keep watching our videos. Tell us which scene shocked you the most by sounding off in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe before leaving. Bye for now.